Coming up on today's show, could the New England Patriots be trading the number 3 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft? We will tell you what their GM had to say about the possibility. Stephon Gilmore, could a return to Carolina be in the works? We'll explore that possibility. Also, Darren Waller, the New York Giants tight end. Have we seen the last of him in the National Football League, with rumors circulating about his potential retirement? We'll go over all of that in just a matter of moments here on today's show. I am merely Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. With the draft just a week away, if you want your team to draft well, here's what I need you to do. Like the video. Don't jinx it. Don't make me come find you because you didn't do your part and like today's video. If you want to have a good draft next week, like the video. Don't take any chances on it. Don't be the reason why your team had a bad draft because you didn't like today's video. Do your part. We'll get started here on today's show. The New England Patriots are open for business. The Patriots GM, Eliot Wolf, who's kind of the de facto GM of sorts, not the official GM of the Patriots at this point in time, but he at least is calling the shots so far this offseason through the post-Bill Belichick era. He had a press conference on Thursday, and he said the team has engaged in talks over trading the number 3 overall pick in this year's draft. Look, we know that the Patriots need a quarterback, whether that be a Jaden Daniels or a Drake Maye or a J.J. McCarthy, but the Patriots have an awful roster with a lot of needs they need to address. So, should they go quarterback at 3? Or should they try to get multiple picks and try to retool that roster as a whole? Here's more what Eliot Wolf had to say about the number 3 pick. When you're picking this high, fortunately, those teams that are interested are also doing that. So they'll reach out earlier than they would when we're on the clock. That makes it easier in this particular situation. So then the question becomes, if you're open for business, what is the cost of doing business with the New England Patriots? Well, here's one idea. We've been told that the Vikings don't just like J.J. McCarthy, but there's one quarterback they actually like a little bit more than J.J. McCarthy. That is Drake Maye, the quarterback from North Carolina. Could we see the Vikings simply say, you know what? Rather than trading up for J.J., let's just go ahead and get the quarterback we really want in Drake Maye. Well, it's not going to be cheap if they were to do that. Here's the trade situation potentially if the Vikings were going to move up to the Patriots position here. They give up the number 11 pick, they give up the number 23 pick, and a first-round pick next year to jump up to the number 3 selection. And then all of a sudden, a New England Patriots team who is starting from scratch, all of a sudden has 3 first-round picks to work with here. Now, there was a report that the Patriots are split within their organization on Drake Maye or J.J. McCarthy. And according to NFL Media's Peter Schrager, he says there's a lot of smoke on the potential of trading down, but the most likely scenario still remains them going forward with Drake Maye as their selection at number 3. Here's more from Peter Schrager. I believe this new Patriots regime will be comfortable with either Jaden Daniels or Maye. Pat's brass took Maye out for steaks the night before his Foxborough visit earlier this month, and those guys love the Charlotte native. That said, they also loved their top 30 visit with Daniels. I think they're fine with whichever one falls to them. New England also wined and dined with QB J.J. McCarthy on Monday night, but I don't see this selection. I see this selection being Daniels or Maye. At this point, I would be surprised if the Patriots end up trading the number 3 pick and not taking Drake Maye, because even with all the problems, if you will, with the New England Patriots and the holes within that roster, it still starts and ends with the quarterback position. The buck stops with the QB position, and you got to have your franchise guy. And Drake Maye, personally, I love a lot. I think he'd be the number 1 quarterback in most drafts. I would take him at 3, and I think the Patriots are going to do that with all the quarterback issues they've had the last few years with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. They're still looking for their Tom Brady replacement. Drake Maye could be that guy. Will the Patriots trade the number 3 overall pick? It's our pin comment today. Get your predictions in. T for trade, K for keep. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, maybe it's home runs in baseball. We're looking ahead to the start of the NFL season with DK Metcalf having more than 1,025.5 receiving yards. Also got Lamar Jackson to have more than 3,600.5 passing yards. Let's say we put $20 down on both those and they both hit. That's going to turn into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Download Prize Picks today. Play along with us. You'll be glad you did. Could Stephon Gilmore be making a return to the Carolina Panthers? Well, Panthers GM Dan Morgan spoke to the media this week on the possibility, saying they are open to a return for Gilmore to the Queen City. Here's more from Dan Morgan. We're going to leave the door open there. We're still going to stay in communication, and after the draft, we'll circle back and see where it goes. Look, if you're the Carolina Panthers, that team is so bad, and they are so far off that you ought to be running to the phones if you are interested in Stephon Gilmore. If the Carolina Panthers are serious about building this roster to try to be a playoff team this upcoming season, then they need to do whatever it takes to go ahead and get Stephon Gilmore. If they're saying to themselves, you know what, we're not really there right now, this is still a rebuilding process and all, then you could potentially live without Stephon Gilmore. But if you're trying to win games, then you need to go ahead and get Stephon Gilmore while you got the chance. He's been a journeyman of sorts, playing for the Cowboys, Colts, Panthers, Patriots, and Bills. He's looking at potentially playing for his 5th different team in the last 5 years for the former NFL Defensive Player of the Year back in 2019. A 5-time Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl champion. There will be a case to be made for Stephon Gilmore in Canton someday. And he's coming off a very good year in Dallas. Last year played in all 17 games where he managed to have 68 tackles, 13 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. And his coverage stats were solid. Allowed a completion percentage under 55%. Did give up 4 touchdowns, though. We mentioned those 2 interceptions. QB rating allowed was about an 83.3. So let's ask you now, should the Panthers sign Stephon Gilmore? S for sign, P for pass. What would you do, as John Quinones would say? Let us know if the Carolina Panthers should bring him in or not. Make sure and join us for our live coverage of the 2024 NFL Draft coming up next week right here on NFL Daily. We will be live for every single pick from Thursday through Saturday, and we got the entire offseason covered here on NFL Daily. The best NFL offseason coverage on all of YouTube is right here on the channel. Subscribe now for free. Never miss a moment. Lock us in. And the best part about it, it's absolutely 100% free. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. One final note before we wrap up today's show. The New York Giants are waiting a decision on tight end Darren Waller's playing future. Will he retire? I know he's not that old, right? But he has dealt with a lot of injuries. Could this be the end of the road for Waller? Joe Schoen, the Giants GM, said this about Darren Waller on Thursday. We haven't given him a deadline on deciding whether to retire. Now, the way I look at this when it comes to the New York Giants, a lot of pressure's on that organization, right? Brian Dable, Daniel Jones and company, they have to compete this year. Otherwise, everybody's losing their jobs. And if I'm Joe Schoen and company here, I'm not waiting around on Darren Waller. If Darren Waller comes back, that's great. But if you're the New York Giants, you probably should be drafting a tight end anyway and getting more weapons to help out Daniel Jones or whoever's under center for this team. You look at the top prospects in this year's draft. It's a very good tight end class, led by Brock Bowers, who's projected to be a top 10 pick. Jatavian Sanders from Texas, also another option. Cade Stover, not bad. Theo Johnson from Penn State. who was very good in the red zone. And then there's Tanner McLachlan from Arizona as well. If the Giants want to go tight end, they have plenty of options to do so. Waller coming off a disappointing season, if you will, there with the New York Giants. This is a player that just a few years ago was a top 3 tight end in football, but hasn't really looked like it as of late. Last year, played in 12 games with over 500 receiving yards, just 1 touchdown grab there in New York. So, will the Giants draft a tight end? Let us know what you think. Be Joe Shane, and let us know what you think. Y for yes, in for no. If you enjoyed today's show, if you want your team to have a great draft, like the video. We certainly appreciate it, and we'll see you next time right here on NFL Daily.